So let's talk about Eddy Arnold, who is known today as, within the traditional country community, as the guy whose records are always in the thrift store record bins. Lovingly, I'm sure. But Eddy Arnold was one of the key figures in traditional country music, especially during the rise of the Nashville Sound. More on that later. So at the beginning of his career, he kind of started out in the early 1940s. He was like just a rural kind of hillbilly singer, and his whole aesthetic was just like poor farm boy. You know, he wore plaid flannel shirts and he had just like a guitar. In a matter of 10 years, though, that changed and he kind of became more sophisticated as a singer. He went from plaid shirts to, suits and ties and tuxedos and singing at really fancy kind of events. Eddy Arnold's vocal style kind of made him stand out against his musical peers during this time because there was less of a focus during this time on perfection, especially with singing. So Eddy Arnold, as someone who had a really, really nice voice, that kind of made him stand out against people like Ernest Tubb, for example, who, not to say that he wasn't, a fantastic musician, but he didn't have that same kind of like smooth vocal quality to his voice. Interesting note though, Eddy Arnold's vocal style was actually influenced by Pete Cassell. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He was popular on WSB, the radio station in Atlanta, in the 1930s, and Eddy Arnold was also influenced by Bing Crosby, as he noted in his autobiography. Is it ironic that Eddy Arnold became a pop star? Personally, I think that Eddy Arnold's voice was actually better suited to pop. And I believe the only reason that he went into it and was considered country is because of his background. He was a poor farm boy from Tennessee. But if you look at someone like Johnny Mathis, for example, I mean, were they not singing the exact same kind of music? Interesting thing to think about. So Eddy Arnold's career kind of went into a slump until the Nashville Sound came around, which the Nashville Sound kind of attempted to sophisticate country music because country music's popularity was being threatened with the rise of rock and roll. So among other things, the Nashville Sound kind of added like horn sections, string sections, drums, and slipnote piano. Compare Eddy Arnold's 1954 recording of I Really Don't Want to Know with Make the World Go Away, which was recorded just 9 years later, to hear the drastic change in his sound. That's it for now. Stay country, stay sexy.